Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And like a lot of you today, both me and Larson have been glued with horror at our TVs and Twitter feeds with what's been going on in the world in Washington, D.C. specifically. And like we both fully understand that reporting on the world of pro wrestling might seem a bit trivial given what's going on out there, but it's kind of what we do, and it's the basis of the Going In Raw community. So maybe for some of you, it might come as like, you know, a small respite for what's going on in the real world. So there you go. Feels weird to be reporting on this stuff given what's happening, but it's our jobs, and then we can all get back to the real world after this, I guess. Larson, what's first in the news?
Well, first the news. So apparently there was an NXT talent that was almost called up for this Friday's SmackDown. That's according to WrestleVotes. This is what WrestleVotes had to say. Quote, just heard an interesting story. NXT talent was slated to be called up to SmackDown last week as of Showtime was written into the main event segment with Reigns, Uso, and KO. Said talent is on tonight's big NXT card, so curious to see if it was pushed a week or scrapped altogether.
Gee, I wonder who it could be. I think it's probably Damian Priest.
Part of me was hoping that Owens would call in reinforcements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been cool. Yeah, I mean, the whole timing of Damian Priest taking on Karrion Kross, these are two big deals. Both guys could legitimately be NXT champion. I kind of feel like Karrion Kross is going to be sticking around a bit longer, and Damian Priest is going to be the guy probably going to main roster.
Yeah.
Also of note, and this was kind of interesting, Ciampa versus Thatcher has been pulled from New Year's Evil tonight.
Yeah, Thatcher has an injury.
Is it so? Is that because I know that's in story that's in kayfabe as well? Is
I
that
just saw the video with Regal where in the trainer's room and they were like moving his arms and stuff.
Okay.
And they're in the trainer's room doing this.
Right, so it has to be real. Right.
Injury apparently.
Yeah.
So like Damian Priest, his North American title reign did, assuming it's him, North American title reign did a lot for him.
Oh yeah.
As brief as what it was.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like he put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
His promos were better.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been a good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
In-ring work tightened up.
Mm-hmm.
As especially with Karrion Kross coming back, it seems like the world title picture is going to be, or the NXT title picture is going to be pretty congested for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's no space for him up there, then if they have a plan for him on the main roster, bring him on up.
Well, it's interesting because there have been so many people that he has passed up. He fits the main roster bill perfectly. He's tall. He's a big man who can move great. He does have a very heavy presence. He's got that great voice. He's got a great look. And like you said, I liken his North American run to what we saw with Andrade Almas when he got Zelina Vega back in NXT. It
all came together.
He's sort of floundering, did the party guy thing. She came around, and both in kayfabe and sort of within the context of performers in NXT, he really, really put it together. It allowed him to elevate to the main event scene, and the same exact thing has happened with Damian Priest. Interesting how picky and choosy they're being with names in NXT to call up. And Damian Priest, though, I mean, he fits the main roster thing as well as Keith Lee did. And look, he, was champion for a very short period of time before they called him on up. I mean, we'll see if that's the case. I mean, that you might have been planned for SmackDown or whatever. We'll see if that's. I mean, they might be digging themselves into a hole if all of a sudden Vince is like, no, we'll keep him in NXT, and then what, he's going to lose to Karrion Kross tonight, and
what else is there for him to do?
Yeah, right. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. It's just one of the problems with NXT being beholden to Vince's whims in terms of calling people up.
Yeah. Well, Steve, speaking of calling up, other things are up. Raw ratings. So ratings for Raw Legends Night. Sorry, you're in. And it seems like wheeling out superstars of years past worked to provide at least a 1 week bump in the ratings. Raw averaged 2.127 million viewers. Hourly numbers of 2.197, 2.150, and 2.036 million, and each hour of Raw topped the cable charts in the all-important 18 to 49 demo. What I found most telling about these numbers is that there's not that huge third-hour drop-off.
You're right. Yeah, look at that.
They're remarkably consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's a drop off from hour 2 to hour 3, but sometimes that drop off is 200,000-300,000. You know?
Yeah, it's significant.
This is around 100,000. So that's, I guess, reason for optimism. There's no Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
So it ran, at least in that sense, unopposed. I don't know if there's any basketball games on. But you know, how much this is to chalk up to Legends Night, no Monday Night Football, combination thereof.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of interesting to see a breakdown of segments. That's always kind of an interesting thing to look at when it's available.
The quarter hour stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't know. I'll put it this way. Legends Night itself, I'm still surprised it can be a draw. I really am. I know, people, you know, Hulk Hogan, people like him. I get it. I mean, some people don't, but he's a name. Goldberg was a surprise, which I was kind of shocked that they actually used that as a surprise. I don't know how much that fits in with, you know, people, the buzz about Goldberg, people tuning in, bolstering that third hour, you know, maybe from the drop that it would have been, or, you know, people on the West Coast picking up on it and tuning in. I don't know. I guess it'll be really interesting to see what happens next week. If Goldberg comes back, stands to figure he should be back next week, to see if, you know, adding him to the equation. Dude, it's disheartening as hell, though, that's the point that WWE's at, is that, you know, we've said this continually now, making new stars has not been something that they have invested in. And the only way they can seemingly get this number up is by wheeling out a guy who's in his 50s. You know, or multiple people in their 50s and 60s, depending on.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to get the ratings up to over 2 million, this is going to be a constant thing where you know, there'll be a cycle of stories. You know, for example, now you got Goldberg between now and the Rumble. Who are they going to bring out, you know, to lead up to Mania? Who are they going to bring out to build the SummerSlam? Assuming the ratings stay in the 1.7 million viewers area. You know, assuming that 2 million is like the minimum they're hoping for. If they see this as encouraging, if we just bring out more legends on a more regular basis, we can keep those ratings up. But again, it's diminishing returns. The more you have them on, the less of appeal is going to be to tune in, at least for the surprise aspect of it.
I'm almost positive this rating was lower than the last time they brought the legends out. So to your
that
point,
is Post Wrestling had to think about that on the report for this, and I believe that was July 2019. I want to say it was.
Let me guess. 2 something. Was it high 2s, probably?
I want to say 2.6. Let me double check.
Oh, wow, okay.
I have the link in here in the notes, so I can check right now.
The hope is you've got yourself a really good world champion with Drew McIntyre. You have yourself a killer future star, maybe a couple.
Oh, sorry. It was 3 million.
Okay,
Raw
okay,
Reunion,
so yeah.
July 2019, 3 million. Yeah, and
Okay.
then and then the Stone Cold episode on March 16th, 316 day, that was the last time Raw viewership was this high.
Wow, jeez. You hope that with a guy like Drew,
Post Wrestling,
you hope with a guy like Drew McIntyre, you know, if you do some big angle next week with Keith Lee, maybe, you know, you've got Matt Riddle there and Bobby Lashley, they might be in something good. If you use Goldberg, you know, in strategically, if he is a draw, you use him strategically to focus and spotlight your other guys, and that's how you start building up people. You know, people will tune in for Goldberg. Oh, I want to see what happens like with this Keith Lee guy. You know, but you got to follow through, and you have to spotlight those other names that you can push on people.
Yeah. If the point of bringing out these legends to get eyeballs on your show, well, you got to put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
Creatively when that's the case.
Don't open with Ms. TV. You can't.
No, let's say this past Monday's episode of Raw was not best foot forward.
Correct.
So you need some.
I feel gross just saying that.
Correct.
Oh, that's the new pre-mode. Oh, I hate that.
I feel like I was saying correct like that long before the Miz ever did. I'd say correct.
If you want to claim ownership, that's fine, and I can maybe transition in my head. But right now, it's so.
Here, I'll do that, so you don't have to associate with the Miz any longer. It's Larson annoying you with that,
okay?
Not the Miz.
Fair enough. Speaking of, I have no segue for this one. Back in October, we're going to talk about Marty Scurll and his relationship, or now his former relationship with Ring of Honor. Back in October, Wrestling Observer reported that Marty Scurll had been removed from Ring of Honor's roster page, and that he, quote, didn't have a role in Ring of Honor. Now, as we had read before, or how, you know, it was made, what was it, at the beginning of 2020, the end of 2019, I believe, he was basically given the most lucrative contract in Ring of Honor, what I believe is Ring of Honor history, if not very
and they
recent
gave him the
history.
book.
And they gave him creative control. So he was going to be the guy running creative with some help from some of the other guys who had already been there in creative.
Yeah, like Delirious.
Delirious,
and
yeah.
other people there. Yeah.
And so, of course, you know, there was Marty's speaking out moment, I guess, which you guys can investigate on your own. I feel kind of icky even talking about it. Monday afternoon, Ring of Honor announced via Twitter that Marty Scurll and Ring of Honor have mutually decided to part ways. So that's final, apparently. So there you go. Marty's done with Ring of Honor. Anything happened at New Year's Dash, Larson? I actually was up because of our damn Wrestle Kingdom schedule. I couldn't get to sleep until like 2.
Really?
Until round 2 is when I'd like knocked out finally. And so I watched the first couple matches of New Year's Dash. What happened with that?
Well, let's do a New Japan news roundup from the post Wrestle Kingdom press conferences and New Year's Dash. Here's some tidbits. So following his defeat at the hands of Kota Ibushi at Night 2 Wrestle Kingdom, Jay White had a great promo backstage after the match, in which he pretty much said that he's after New Year's Dash he'd be done. He said that's it, done. After all the sacrifice, as he put it. Kicked some tables over, fell out of his chair. And as near as I could tell, the only follow through is that he ate a pin at New Year's Dash. Ishii pinned him.
Okay.
Kota Ibushi, he wants to unify the heavyweight intercontinental titles.
Oh, that's interesting.
Hiromu Takahashi's next opponent for the junior heavyweight title is going to be Sho. And Shingo Takagi will be taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi, Go Ace, for the never openweight title.
That's surprising. I wonder if that's an interesting turn of events. I mean, Naito, when he was the Intercontinental Champion, before he won the double titles, he would talk about how there's too many titles, in
belts,
New Japan. I wonder if that was a test balloon. I wonder if that was like sort of, you know, being floated out there, because you've got the Never title, which has its own kind of function.
It's got interest. It's the only belt that both juniors and heavyweights can challenge for. Yeah.
I wonder if the idea is, hey, you know, let's pare it down by one. The heavyweight title's the thing to get. Elevate the Never title. You still
also
have the United States Championship out there.
I mean, that if this is something that they're seriously considering, that would lead me to believe that U.S. title is going to be coming back at some juncture.
It's going to come back, and it would be more prestigious. So yeah, and then finally, the Empire send Tenzan to the hospital.
They had a match against Tenzan and Kojima and somebody else, and then apparently they just beat the heck out of all of them.
Yeah, when I saw that, because I think that was the match that I sort of I tapped out on. I was like, boy, that's an easy win for the Empire right there today. Anyways, New Year's Smash Night 1 for AEW is on tonight. We're going to be watching. We'll do our live recap afterwards if people want to just hang out. You know, and then cool off a little bit, maybe. Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix, banger match. That'll be a good one.
That'll be great. I'm really looking forward to this next one. Wardlow versus Jake Hager.
This should be a pay-per-view match, man.
It really should. I've been really impressed with what Wardlow's been doing the last few weeks, both on TV, his promo he did that AEW put out on their Twitter, telling that story about Brody Lee. Incredible, shockingly
well spoken, articulate, and a compelling presence. That Wardlow, that's awesome. We have women's title action with Hikaru Shida defending against Abaddon. Ooh, scary.
The Go Big Show match of the night. Cody Rhodes taking on Matt Sydal. I just say that because I know they have the graphic for the match. They always have the logo for that show.
Speaking of the Go Big Show match, Snoop Dogg will be appearing to do some commentary.
Yeah, and speaking of commentary, Chris Jericho will be doing commentary as well.
Also, the return of Mox.
Sting. It's Sting is appearing.
We're gonna get a weigh-in. Is this gonna be like a shoot weight for Darby Allin? Because there's no way that dude's over like $170, man.
We'll see. If they say anything over 200 pounds, we get her answer. You know,
he's gonna have a weigh-in with Brian Cage, thick. And then the Young Bucks and SCU take on the Hybrid 2 and the Acclaimed in eight-man action.
NXT, we mentioned earlier, fight pit match between Ciampa and Thatcher is off because of injury to Thatcher. However, full card of New Year's Evil is as follows. Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly, NXT title bout. Their one at TakeOver was really good. This should be fantastic.
Damian Priest set for his goodbye powerhouse collision with Karrion Kross to open. Oh, wow, they're just getting out of the way, and then he's getting on that plane right back down to Thunderdome.
No, there's no plane. He's teleporting, man.
Right.
Teleporting from Orlando to Tampa.
There you go.
Apparently, Finn and Kyle, and then Damian and Karrion Kross, I believe they advertised both having no commercial interruptions, I think.
Very cool.
Which might just mean picture-in-picture. Anyways, Rhea Ripley to face off with Raquel Gonzalez in last woman standing match.
And Grand Metalik. Man, we get to see him in NXT action. That's cool. He's going to be challenging Santos Escobar. That's going to be a show stealer. That's going to be awesome.
Looking forward to that one. And then Xia Li and Boa set to return this Wednesday night.
I wonder if they're going to bring their mysterious training people with them, their bosses or whoever they are. So should be a really fun night of wrestling. We're going to be doing AEW's New Year's Smash tonight, and then we'll be back tomorrow with our review of New Year's Evil from NXT. So that should be a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.